ODOT to tax Oregon drivers. The story is at the Coin6 webpage. We'll play a video from the Oregonian in just a moment. Years ago, some of you have heard about the Big Brother plan to embed a black box in all cars so the state knows where you are and can eventually tax you by the mile. Oregon in 2015, in particular, on July 1st, 2015, they're going to be using 5,000 volunteers, and they will be starting to begin their test of how they can tax the volunteers. They're going to be running around in different areas in Oregon, and it's going to be a tax of 1.5 cents a mile. That is in addition to the gasoline tax. So there are a lot of people that are upset about this. You really should read the comments. I mean, people are in uproar. And drivers already pay 30 cents per gallon in gas taxes every time they stop to fill up. That adds up to hundreds of millions of dollars per year. But ODOT says that's not enough to maintain the roads. So we're hearing from the state the same thing that we're hearing from the city that wants the street tax. And people are asking that situation as well. Where is the money that they already have for the roads? So this is a video from the Oregonian. This is ODOT, the spokesperson for ODOT, explaining why they need more money.
And what we're doing is just collecting opinions and input from people across the state about how they react to the program and if they think it's fair, if they think it's a good idea. What we're trying to do is to find a way to replace the gas tax, which is failing. And as it declines deeper and deeper, we need to find a different way of funding the transportation system so that we don't get into a state of disrepair and have unsafe roads. So this is the alternative that the legislature landed on after about 12 years of research and 2 pilot projects. So we now have a good idea as to how the system should be designed and how it will best work most efficiently and most effectively for Oregonians. So the second pilot project was managed by private sector companies. The first pilot was run by ODOT. So that was one difference. The other difference was that the first pilot had just one device and it had GPS. People didn't want a black box put in their car by ODOT. The second pilot had choices. You could have a smartphone app, you could have a device with GPS, you could have a device that only reported odometer reading, and then you had just a flat, rate that you could pay. Now, not all those options will be carried forward into the fully operational program, but the fact that people were offered choices made them a lot more accepting of the fact that they could, that this was a change, as long as they could customize it to their lifestyle. I think if we want to make up the revenues that we're losing in gas tax, it is pretty slow, but you have to institute these changes gradually. People need to understand what's going to happen. They need to understand how it's going to impact their lives. That's why we're out here, is to really get people's reactions
gradually,
to the system
like a frog boiling
so
in water slowly. The heat turned up slowly.
It's different.
The frog doesn't even realize that's being cooked.
Depending on where you sit, it may seem unfair to you for one reason or another. Our interest is in what's for the greatest good of all Oregonians.
Okay. And with mass migration to the Oregon area, they're in a position to profit off of this. And there are so many ways they plan to do so, even though a lot of people came here trying to get away from the circumstances, from the high taxation, high revenue collection from the government, places that they already fled, places like California, the East Coast, many other places. In addition to that, several months ago in Portland, there was a conference called the EV Roadmap 7 Conference. Took place between July 23rd and the 25th, July of this year, 2014, at the Portland World Trade Center, located at 25 Southwest Salmon Street. And there were a number of members of the tech community, as well as government, not only Portland government, but as well as federal government and state of Oregon as well. And they were talking about their plans to implement V to I, or vehicle to infrastructure, so that one could see upcoming road accidents, detours, as well as timing for stoplights, etc. And they're talking about the Internet of Things, where the cars talk to one another via Wi-Fi, from car to car, what they call V to V, vehicle to vehicle communication. They say they want to make things safer by identifying where all the adjacent vehicles are located as a step towards autonomous cars that drive themselves. They said that they will autonomize the data so that only the vehicle location and data will be available, not the identity of the vehicle driver. Yeah, right. There was a lot of talk about using Google's cloud services for each car, for voice translation, APs, etc. A representative from Germany who works with Audi and BMW says that the cars will know the driver's habits so well as to anticipate in advance his needs and turn on or off the systems based upon habits. They discussed bringing these technologies to vehicles via iPhones. One approach is to have a module in the car that can be replaced with updated modules as the car becomes older. Apparently, there is a plan to include an interface chip in future iPhones so that iPhones can talk to the car. The state of Oregon is looking towards a system to charge users a mileage charge for the use of the road in lieu of a gas tax for hybrid and electric vehicles. And so you have a lot of creepy, invasive surveillance application to this. You know, imagine being surveilled, your car surveilling you, analyzing your driving habits. And that is in addition to this other plan to tax drivers by the mile.